All right, everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault news video. As always, I'm Captain Beefy. This is the Game Vault. Got a couple little things we want to talk about this week. Of course, a little controversy. Some new games that have come out and how they've been received. And, a couple cool things like that. And we'll do our weekly update of Ark since we play a lot of Ark. And I do want to talk about a new game that I've picked up. Well, a couple new things. So let's cue up the music. We'll get right to it. All right, first and foremost, I could do a channel just on Ubisoft, I think. Ubisoft, once again, is in the news, and this time they're facing a lawsuit for forcing an internet connection in single-player games. And what they're doing is there's an organization in Europe, a nonprofit organization called NOYB, which stands for None of Your Business. They're filing a legal complaint against Ubisoft because the developers asked players to connect to the internet and log into their Ubisoft account when starting to play a game. This company is based in Austria, and they've taken on a case from a Far Cry Primal player who purchased the game on Steam, but only found out that he was forced to be online to play it, although it can be played without interacting with other players. This is a point of contention with a lot of gamers. When you buy a single-player game, why do you need to be online? I understand they want to consider it anti-piracy things and stuff like that. There's got to be a better way, though, right? Got to be a better way, especially with like a digital purchase too. Why do you have to be online? You're purchasing it through Steam. I mean, I guess two people could log into the Steam account in two different locations, but there's ways to, like, I have a PlayStation 5, right? And if I log into my PlayStation 5 on my account and then I log into it in the other room, I can't play the same game on my same account on two different machines. So there are ways around this, but in any case, let's get back to the story here. It says, as a tech-savvy individual, the player examined what data had been sent to Ubisoft, and finding out that in just 10 minutes, the game established 150 external server connections, and Google, Amazon, and U.S. software company Datadog received the data. Now, the complainant contacted the game's customer support to inquire about it and was told that these action requests were used to check the ownership at a game's launch. They refer the player to the company's end user license agreement to EULA, and we've talked about that prior with Ubisoft and how we don't own games from Ubisoft because we're just buying a license from them to play the game for a set amount of time. But anyway, that confirms that Ubisoft does collect personal data, quote, in order to provide you with a better game experience, and that it uses, quote, third-party analytic tools to collect information concerning your and other users' gaming habits and use of the product. Besides game data, they also collect login and browsing data. None of Your Business concluded that under the General Data Protection European Union regulation on information privacy, there seems to be no valid legal basis to randomly collect such user data. So here we are again, Ubisoft. These guys just can't stay out of the news for bad reasons. And we'll see what happens to this. We're going to kind of keep an eye on this to see if anything comes of this. If it ends up being dropped, is this really a bad thing? And if it is, this could easily turn into a massive lawsuit for anybody, for Ubisoft, that anybody can jump on board with. A massive class action lawsuit, if you think about it. How many millions of players own Ubisoft games, right? I own several. I've played several games throughout the years. Can I jump in on this and sue them for God knows how much money? The company could be bankrupted over this if this is really, if this is something that is found to be illegal, quote unquote, and if they're selling our data and all that, and it's just another dirty tactic that these big companies use, but whatever. But speaking of big companies, this is on to something else, a little better, a little nicer thing than we'll talk about right now. Is last week, or during the week, I should say, I think it was Tuesday, a little developer called Bethesda, you may have heard about them, stealth dropped, kind of, and I put stealth drop in quotes, a remaster of a video game you may have heard of called Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. Now, we all own Skyrim. And if you're like me, you've bought it 3 or 4 times throughout the year since the PlayStation 3 when it came out in, 2011? I think it was November 2011 when I first bought it. I called in sick for like a week afterward to play it. But so we've all owned that. Now, Oblivion was the one that came out right before that. Not when I say right before, I mean years. A beloved game, right? Horribly dated visually and so forth by now. I mean, it's just absolute garbage by now visually. But still, a beloved game that everyone loves. And been rumors for a while that a remake has been being done. I know there's some modders out there doing something called Skyblivion, which I believe is a Oblivion remake done in the Skyrim, the way of Skyrim or something like that. I don't know exactly what that's about. I haven't done too much research into it, but I've heard about that project for quite some time now, and I guess that's still in the works. But yeah, Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered stealth dropped the same day they made the announcement that it was going to drop. Prior to that, for about a week, people have been saying it's going to be tomorrow, it's going to be tomorrow. And when I say people, I mean people on the internet, just random people going, yeah, it's going to be tomorrow, it's going to be tomorrow. Everybody's speculating. I mean, if you're going to say it's going to be tomorrow every day, eventually you're going to be right. So yeah, $49.99 for the game. There is a deluxe edition, which includes a couple sets of armor and weapons, and of course, the digital art book and soundtrack for an extra $10. So $50 and $60 respectively for the games. I believe it includes all the DLC from the games. Yeah, Shivering Isles and Knights of the Nine story expansions. Additional DLC is the Fighter Stronghold, Spelltomes, Violair, Mehrunes Razor, the Thieves' Den, Wizard's Tower, the Orrery, and the thing that started microtransactions. The one that started it all, the Horse Armor Pack. Remember that? God, that's the highly controversial purchase that started microtransactions back in the day. So yeah, this is an older game. It originally came out in, God, what year did it come out? I don't remember the year it came out, but anyway, it's been well received for the most part, right? PC, it's got an 86 on Metacritic right now, doing fantastic. How's it look on Steam, right? So a lot of times games come out, and this was day one on Game Pass. So you think, oh, it's not going to do so good on Steam because, that was the excuse a lot of people used for stuff like Dragon Age of Veilguard, right? Oh, it didn't do good because, Game Pass and all that. Yeah, this thing topped out at 205,000 players in its first week out. Okay, its first day out. Let's see. It topped out at, the Tuesday it came out. Over 170,000 players on day one. The day it came out on a Tuesday. We were all at work, bro. It hit that high. So I don't think, Veilguard got to be a third of that, or maybe roughly a third of that. But whatever the case may be, the game did fantastic and all that. Was there controversy around it? Yeah, let's talk about the controversy. So the major controversy is the character creator. And here we go again. Is it woke? So for the most part, from my understanding, it's not woke. Now, I might get this game down the road. I do not have time for Oblivion right now. My backlog is so disgustingly fat right now. It's gross. So I'm not spending $50, $60 on a game that's just going to sit for a year or more before I can even touch it. Because I know by the time I'm ready to play it, I could probably get it for $25, $30, maybe less. Maybe it'll even be on PlayStation Plus by then. Who knows? So I'm not even going to spend $1 on it right now. Down the road, I may not. We'll see. But when it comes time to character creation, we're looking at, instead of the male and female body, it does the body type A and B, or 1 and 2, whatever the case may be in this one. I think it's body type 1 and body type 2. And that's annoying. And, that annoys a lot of players because we don't have body type 1 and 2 in humanity. We are either male or female. And it's a minor thing, right? In the grand scheme of things, as far as wokeness in video games, that is one of the most minor things in there. But it is still a thing. It is still a foothold in the door. And I think they made another change, like they changed race, species into race, or race into species. What did they do? They did something like that. Anyway, the argument was like... So anyway, going back to the whole 1 and 2 body types on Nexus Mods, of course, modders immediately went in and changed it to a male and female mod to make it so when you made your character, it was either male or female. Now, it may seem funny to you, like, oh, well, why bother? You know, what's the big deal? You're going to create a character and you're never going to see that again, right? Because when you go into the game and you play the game, if you choose body type 1, which I think is male, and 2, which is female, you're going to be referred to as male or female. You're not going to be referred to as anything else. You're not going to be referred to as, hey, body type 1, how are you today? No, you're male or female. So it's a silly thing. It's only there in the beginning of the game. And it shouldn't be there in the first place, to be honest with you. I think minor things like that are very annoying, and they really shouldn't be there, but they are. So Nexus immediately banned the mod. And I guess it went back and forth. A couple people went back and forth over it. Made the mod again, or somebody re-released it, or someone else made a mod. And it went back and forth, and eventually Nexus acquiesced and said, look, they're just going to let it go. And he says, we're not going to fight this battle today. You know, enough people have fought back. Nexus has always leaned left on their mods. You know, they've always banned mods that eliminated things that appealed to certain audiences, right? Spider-Man, there was a mod that went in there that took out the gay pride flags in New York City and replaced them with American flags because it was hate speech, right? Spider-Man's a single-player game. Who gives a damn if you take out the pride flags and replace them with American flags for an experience that only the player who did it is going to experience? It impacts nobody. It only makes the game better for that person, more enjoyable for that person because they chose to do it, right? Why take that away from that person? So in any case, that's what's going on with Oblivion. So Oblivion, like I said, it launched to some pretty high scores on Metacritic at like 80, what we say 82, 86, something like that. And over 200,000 players so far within its first week on SteamDB, which is awesome. But let's talk about another game that dropped this week. And I feel bad for these guys, you know, or I was feeling bad when I found out. This one had been announced for a while. And, you know, these guys were like, oh, when they saw this game drop a couple days before them, and that is Clair Obscure Expedition 33. This thing dropped a couple days after. I think it was either Thursday or Friday. And, you know, but boy, it came out hard. 92 Metascore on PlayStation 5. Great game. It's an RPG. It looks like kind of a Final Fantasy type game from the trailers that I've watched and all that. It's got that feel with the music and the characters and all that, but not, there's a difference. There's some subtle differences to it, but it has that general feel to it. It doesn't look like a Final Fantasy game, but it does wear that influence on its sleeve. And it's really cool looking, really beautiful looking game. If you like those type of games, I highly recommend checking it out for yourselves. Again, I don't have time for this kind of stuff right now. It's out there. One day, if I can get to it, I'll pick it up and buy it and check it out. But for now, I don't. But it looks great, you know. So that one's doing well, and that's another one that's only $50, right? I don't know if I mentioned, yeah, Oblivion, $50. The upgraded version, $60. Expedition 33, brand new game. Looks AAA. Looks fantastic, right? The studio is, what's the studio that made this one? Kepler Interactive Limited. $50 game, right? That's the whole base game. There is a deluxe edition for $10 more. This is a thing all the time. Now we're seeing it. And all it comes with is the Flowers collection, whatever that is. It's probably some kind of skins or something like that. Collectibles, who knows. A Clair custom outfit and an Obscure custom outfit. One says Maeli and one says Gustave. I'm guessing those are two characters in the game. So really, for $100, you can get both of those games. And we're talking about the cost of games going up and how Grand Theft Auto 6 might cost $100 out of the gate and how the new Nintendo games are going to be $80 out of the gate. Well, here you've got two games that look utterly fantastic for the most part. I mean, both games look great for $50 a pop. So, you know, take note, Nintendo. Take note, you know, Rockstar. You know, we don't need to charge that much for these games. They're both selling. They're both doing well. A lot of people are playing them, so Anyway, that's that. Next up, let's talk about Ark. Ark's done some really neat stuff lately, you know, and they also have not done some stuff lately. Let's talk about the good, though. Garugas, the guy who did the Ark editions, the modder who did those, was officially hired on to the Ark development team. So congratulations is in order. I hope it works out well for him. So the Ark Editions creatures that were coming to the game that have been introduced, like the Zafactinus and so forth and so on, are going to continue to enter the game as they're kind of trickling in one by one. What was the last one we just got in? The I can't even remember the last one we just got in, but the Dinotherium, right? The big elephant. So it's cool. I'm glad we're getting these things in on a regular basis. It's kind of neat. I'm hoping they speed things up a little bit. Maybe him being involved with the team directly will speed things along. It'll probably only slow things down being a part of Wildcard, unfortunately, but who knows? So there are questions. He has done some premium mods that he's charged money for. None of those are going to enter the base game as freebies, he said. So if you've paid money for something that he's done as a premium mod, don't worry. You're not going to see it 6 months or a year down the road in the game for free and be pissed off because you spent, $5 on it or whatever. If it would even piss you off at that point, I don't know. For me, it'd be like, I got to enjoy it for a year or two before everybody else, so whatever. And I supported the guy when he needed it. So yeah, that's kind of a cool thing that they did for him. I think that's great. I'm hoping that he gets heavily involved with the creation of creatures in the future and all, because he's done some great work. I love the taming methods that most of his creatures have. He doesn't do the standard knockout tames, which we all love a knockout tame. It's easy. We know how to do it. It's just go get your darts, go get your kibble, boom, boom, done. But, there's nothing like taming a Dinosuchus. Sneaking up and shoving that piece of kibble in his mouth when he's basking in the sun. Or the Dinotherium, with the beer in your hand, shaking, waiting for him to swing his head and hoping that you didn't miscalculate and he doesn't stomp your guts out, and instead he takes the beer from you. It's fun stuff, right? Absolutely fun stuff. So good luck to him. Now, also in the Community Crunch this week, they announced that there is a new creature, and that's the Bison. This is the one that's going to be in Ragnarok. And we knew this was coming. We saw this advertised quite a while back. Get a cool picture of it, though, here with the little baby bison and our little farmer with it. That's an outfit from Bob's Tall Tales, I believe. And I'm not sure what's going on in the background there. It looks like Bob's Tall Tales stuff from Scorched Earth there, creating kind of like a barn-looking thing. We do see the griffin up there, so clarification that, yes, we are getting griffins still. Look in the arm of our little cowgirl there, though. She's got some milk, so I'm guessing we can milk these guys. I'm not sure what that's going to do. If that's going to assist in breeding, if that's going to assist in maybe raising babies, maybe imprinting on them, something like that. I don't know. Is it going to take the place of wyvern milk? Is it going to have similar statistics with wyvern milk or stuff like that? Is it going to make taming cats easier? Who knows? Maybe it'll open up new recipes for, cooking and all that. So it's kind of neat. Not telling us much, but it is really cool looking. And I'm wondering if it's going to have a different kind of meat on it than just regular and prime meat. That would be kind of nice, too, to see another meat introduced, because all we have is regular and prime so far. Then, of course, we get the mutton from the Ovis, other than the fish, right? There's nothing else, right? Am I missing something? Yeah, I don't think so. So other than fish, yeah, we have those 3 types of meat. So that's it. Other than that, we get a live ops update, and then mods and official rates and a community server and all that kind of stuff. So, or community corner. So still no update on Ragnarok, although they do mention here that it's still supposed to be June 2nd. So we're hoping that they keep that promise. We're still in the midst of expecting them to announce Unreal Engine 5.5 going live anytime now, because we are within that window of April to May 15th, right? We're almost dead center of it right now. So we should be, they should be giving us an update on it. And I know some people say, well, we don't need to hear everything every week. I kind of think we do, even if it's not much, even if it's, yep, we're still on schedule. A simple statement. We're still on schedule for Unreal Engine. Don't worry. We've been burned so much by Ark that they owe us that. I'm sorry. And I stand by that. I'm not going to change my mind on that. It would take 5 seconds to type that out. And then it would be like, all right, they mentioned it. I'm good till next week. We're still on schedule. Every week they don't mention it makes me believe every week that we're going to be delayed. And here we are, roughly 2 weeks out from when it's supposed to be delivered, and I'm a little concerned. I have a feeling next week we're going to get an announcement that's going to be delayed. I could be wrong, and hopefully I am. But yeah, that's it for Ark this weekend, and we'll do a quick side note here. Days Gone Remastered came out on Friday. I picked it up, and I'm absolutely loving it. I love a good zombie game and all that. So if you own the original Days Gone and you bought it, for $10, you can do the upgrade for the remastered version. Now, don't expect a huge visual upgrade because I don't really see that. It looks more like a color filter, to be honest with you. But there are some new game modes like the Horde mode and stuff like that, which might be something cool for you. But if you've not played the game, definitely worth checking out. The thing's got like a 91 on Steam as far as reviews go. People absolutely love the game. I love the game. I put together 14 episodes in like 2 days, man. That's how much I love the game, just to give you an idea there. So, yeah, Days Gone. Absolutely digging it. Anyway, let me know what you think of all this down in the comments below. I'll see you guys next week. Until then, peace.